Jalen Hurts this past week. If you're watching the percent chance of winning for your team at about halftime compared to the end of the game, that was like probably an 80% swing for a lot of players.
Feeling good on a Wednesday.
Pretty sure Hawkinson might actually be a Viking. What's up, everyone? Hope you're feeling good for a Wednesday. My name is Byron Cobalt from byron-cobalt.com and a featured writer for Fantasy Pros. And this is Fantasy Games 1. Fantasy Games 1 is a metric that converts fantasy points into your fantasy team's chances of winning in a week. It's also the name of this weekly show. I'm going to change up the format a little bit this week. What we're going to do is we're going to actually lay out these observations and call it 10 things that happened in week 12. Of all the 10 things, we're not going to count down 10 things. We're going to count up because we're special. And we're going to start with number 1. Who won the week?
Hey, golf is easy now.
Josh Allen won the week. Josh Allen first won the week. He 95% started, which is surprisingly low. Christian McCaffrey coming in second. He was at 100% started. You know, all is right in the world when the top of your leaderboard is Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey and then Jalen Hurts. It's actually a nice, after having weeks where you have like the Cleveland defense and Keenan Allen showing up to lead the week, it actually is nice, a little bit of a return to normalcy. Allen and Diggs also probably the best stack this week. Number 2, Josh Allen's opponent in that highly watched afternoon game, Jalen Hurts came in third. Jalen Hurts probably would have been a lot higher on the leaderboard if his first half weren't garbage. I think he had like 5.5 points in the first half. Any league where you're playing with or against Jalen Hurts this past week, if you're watching the percent chance of winning for your team at about halftime compared to the end of the game, that was like probably an 80% swing for a lot of players. Also, given when it was happening after most of the other games had already been played. So that was fairly dramatic. I have to say, the Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith stack might have actually been the best stack in the week, but I'm not going to go, we've already done that. Like, that was the thing from a different week, calculating stacks, so we're going to keep going here with thing number 3. The return of Kylo Ren Williams. Huge week for Kylo Ren. 35 points by most scoring systems, only 74% started though. He actually would have been in the running for the winner of the week if he had been started as much as he probably should have been started. I mean, honestly, like, there aren't a lot of running backs that were getting the volume he was getting, so I don't understand benching Kyron Williams. Maybe people are just forgetting, and that's a matter of people, you know, not really catching up here. Number 4, Dak is back. Dak now up to 90% started, which actually is in line given where Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts were only at 95 and 93% this past week. There are a lot of options for quarterbacks, I guess, including CJ Stroud, who's also on the list. But the Dak and CD stack, as a result, probably did better for you. Wasn't the best one this week. But if you have Dak and CD, I mean, you have to ride Dak the rest of the way at this point, I think. He's been one of the best players in fantasy for a couple weeks now. If you have Dak and CD, that's your team. You got to, no other choice.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
Number 5. Had to go all the way down to 9th for who won the week to find Tyreek Hill this week. This was actually Tyreek's 7th best week of the year, which means it was a below average week for Tyreek. The 9th best player in the week, and he was just... And that's bad for Tyreek Hill. That shows what kind of season he's having. Although Christian McCaffrey is kind of closing in on him a little bit. Tyreek is still the MVP leader, but Christian McCaffrey, he's closed the gap a bit. He's now within 0.07 fantasy games won of Tyreek for the MVP slot. So this is turning into a pretty tight race here. It'll be exciting to see who pulls it off. Number 6. Isaiah Pacheco, 80% started, which is a little bit higher than I would expect, especially when Kyron Williams is at 74%, but rewarded his owners with a good week, which was first time in a while. So things are turning around for Pacheco. You know, him and his owners are now, their main concern the rest of the way is anyone else that might take carries away from Pacheco. So either McKinnon, maybe Edwards-Helaire. Obviously, the ball could go to all the random receivers that the Chiefs have. Rashee Rice is showing up a little bit. Number 7, speaking of barren fields, like the one Pacheco managers have to cross, now we have Justin Fields, who lost the week. Despite scoring 10 points, because of what you expect from quarterbacks, that was actually the worst week of the week. That was worse than Adam Thielen's 0.7 points. So if you have Justin Fields, that was not the way to end your Monday night. Yeah. I have a dynasty team where I have to pick between Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence every week. I did not pick correctly this week.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Number 8, the JV All-Star of the week is the player that scored the most points. That probably wasn't in your starting lineup. And this week it was Blake Group. Yeah, I guess of players you actually kind of care about. Tyler Higbee at only 7%. Higbee, yeah. Higbee with solid showing. Nice week to have Rams. Tyler Higbee edging out Pat Fryermuth for the top tight end that nobody started. Number 9, Jordan Love on the JV All-Stars. 14% started, 29 points. As the Detroit Lions get older, the Packers quarterbacks seemingly stay the same age.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
After Brett Favre did it, then Aaron Rodgers did it, dominated the Lions on Thanksgiving, and now Jordan Love has done it. So I feel bad for Lions fans. Number 10, Gabe Davis. Gabriel Davis. Only 6% started, but 19 points. We talked about Gabe Davis before no, we're going to do the math. In games where Gabe Davis, this is really funny. In games where Gabe Davis is started less than 20% of the time, he's averaging 16.7 fantasy points. In games where he's started more than 20% of the time, or 20% or more, he's averaging 2.7 fantasy points. The Bills are on bye in week 13. If you're thinking about starting Gabe Davis in week 14, I don't know if you should do that.
I know what you're thinking. I came to talk you out of it.
Maybe don't start Gabe Davis in week 14. And our bonus thing of the week, Tyreek Hill has now surpassed Travis Kelce as the Fantasy Games 1 leader of all time since the beginning of 2021. So congrats to Tyreek Hill. This great season continues, gets racking up more accolades. If you want some more in-depth analysis, check out my post on Fantasy Pros or my blog at byron-global.com. Hope your fantasy football team isn't getting older as your opponents stay the same age. I don't know what that means. But if it did, just remember that we're all going down this fantasy football ship together. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Good luck in week 13, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Right, that's it.